My name is Gary Kerr. I'm the manager of Kerr's Hire in Geelong.
And I'm Heather Kerr.
Our privacy has been violated by this incident because it's when people come into your home, it's just undescribable really, because that emotion at the start is just fear. And Heather and I we couldn't go to bed after the police had left, and we just sat up in the lounge room with the light on out in the driveways just to make sure that they didn't come back again. The next morning, I was speaking to a detective that was handling the case, and I asked him if he'd found anybody that was there and who they were, and they said, oh yes, we've got a fair idea who they are, they're just teenagers. That really upset me because, they were so young. He said they were around 15 years of age, and that, to have young children come into your house and steal a car, and knowing that they were doing 179 kilometres per hour now, how risky it was driving down that road with those four people in the car. They could have killed themselves. When we first arrived at the conference, we met with the convener, and we sat in a room where all parties would eventually come together, and the perpetrator and his lawyer and the convener, then we sat and had discussions about the incidents that happened on the day. He was to give his a portion of events, and then we were given the ability later to answer questions or ask him questions.
I was very surprised when we walked into the room, and here he was just a boy, thinking about what he's going to look like, but he just looked like a 15-year-old boy. We were really concerned about what was going to happen to him and where he would end up if he kept on this path.
I've spoken to a lot of people, and they expected that when I was to go in there I was going to throw the book at the guy. That's what they would do, but I couldn't do that, because when I first saw him and saw how young he was, I just thought that this kid needs help. He doesn't need the book thrown at him. He just needs to get the support of people around him so that he can have a better life. When the convener was asking him questions, I thought, this kid, I've got to be positive here rather than negative, to be able to say, well, okay, to get something out of your life, rather than sit there and blast him and say, look, I've heard since that a lot of people get in there and they do that, and it really, in a conference, either party can leave any time they like, right? And this time I wanted to make sure that I help this kid. This is how I felt at the time. So we started asking him questions on, things that he was good at, so that he could channel his life into things that he could do. But I also said to him once that his mother was the biggest victim here, not us. His mother got to a situation where she had to basically ring the police to tell him to come and find him when they were looking for him, because he was hiding out, because she was just so stressed about his career that he was going to have if he kept doing what he was doing. When I first saw him, and being so young and knowing the problems he got himself into at that age, I thought about my son. I used to be an umpire at the time, and I was at training one night, and I was running around with the teacher, one of the teachers at the school, and he told me, he said, oh Gary, he said, you need to look out for your son. He said, because he's getting mixed up with the wrong crew. So I went home that night and I said to him, what the person had told me, and he said, I said, well, why didn't you come to me? And he said, well, you're always umpiring, Dad, which really hit me. It really hit me hard, and I said, look, okay, at the end of the year I'm going to give up umpiring. One of the things about Sean is that during the conference that we found out, he didn't have a father figure in his life at that time. For us, it was, we actually hugged each other, and I shook hands with Sean when I hugged his mother, and she was just so thankful for what we had said, that she was confident that he would be okay. Both of us felt so relieved after it that it took away a lot of our stress levels, knowing that he's got the right group of people behind him. He's got caseworkers helping him out, trying to find a future for him. You know, so that's what was pleasing to us. In December, I went to the magistrate's court because Sean was up for his sentencing, and the magistrate at the end result was, because of the youth conferencing and because of what we did and what Heather and I had done at the youth conferencing, he praised us because he said it was one of the best youth conferences results that he's seen, because this was going to help Sean, and he gave him an extra 3 months to say, right, you've been set a program on what you need to do, and so that you can stay out of trouble, and I'll defer it for 3 months and see you back here in 3 months. So I thought I was so happy about that we'd done something positive to help him out. And I was speaking to his convener yesterday, and she had told me that he hasn't offended at this stage, and but his caseworkers are trying to find things that he can do. All I could say to people, if they are a victim of crime and they get the opportunity, go for it, but go through it with an open mind, because that's the whole point. If the kid that's gone there to the conference, he wants to rehabilitate himself. That's what he's gone to the conference for, so he doesn't need to be belted around the ears while he's in there, because you'll only deter him.